Hey heroes! It's T. I just wanted to take a moment to pop in before the credits to plug a really cool event that's happening right now. Our podcast, along with so many awesome Masks actual plays, will be competing in a friendly competition called the Superlatives, which recognize all the cool heroes we love to play and listen to. Organized by Lee, the GM of Otherware, this will pit heroes against like heroes, beacons versus beacons, legacy versus legacy, etc. Nominations are currently open and can be found on their Twitter, which is @_superlatives_. Thank you so much for listening and enjoy this issue.
Welcome to Moon Harbor Heroes. Today's issue is Faces, issue 42, Dances with Cranes. On the cover, we see Ryder, Lighthammer, Inky, and Asimov eating at a table outside a restaurant in downtown Moon Harbor. In the distance, we can see several high-rise construction cranes looming over the busy streets. We turn the page and our story begins. Our first page is a full-page panel. It's a overhead shot of the deep forest of where we first met Inky and Poison Oak. And we can see the grove of trees, and inside that we can see Poison Oak and Inky and Asimov. And then standing outside, and we can see the entrance to the grove with vines grown around it, we see Lighthammer and Ryder. And then we turn the page, and we're going to cut into the inside of the grove. Poison Oak is standing in front of the pool. Inky, where are you in this scene?
I think I'm standing next to Brian, and I'm just wearing my loincloth, and I'm dirty, but I am wearing a cape with Asimov's logo on it.
Oh, delightful. And Brian, what are you wearing during this?
Oh, gee, that's a good question. I don't know what happened to my all the clothes I had back at the hospital. I guess I had to make some new ones. Oh, gee, I guess unfortunately didn't have the sequins this time.
There's a backup set.
Well,
fantastic. And I think we get Poison Oak looking down at Inky and saying, "I'm delighted to see you, but why have you come, child of Gaia?"
So we were at Lighthammer's place, and then there was this big boom, and then we did pachow pachow against this demon guy, and I think it's related to my doom. I don't know. Brian, explain.
Well, yeah. I woke up at a hospital and then woke up in the future. And wait a second, how am I supposed to explain anything?
I don't know.
And I think in this, Poison Oak's eyes have been going back and forth between the two of you. And they finally come to rest on Inky. There's a heavy sigh. He goes, "Did they try to reach the bridge?" And he kind of reaches out and touches a finger into Inky, or onto Inky's chest.
Inky looks at Poison Oak and says, "I think their name was Namshop."
I think we get a couple panels Poison Oak slowly closing his eyes and considering this. And he opens his eyes and says, "I believe I've heard that name, but not for a very long time. I was hoping you'd have more time, but child of Gaia, there's forces after you." And he turns and looks at Brian, because this is why you need them, to help protect you until you can protect yourself.
So you're saying that Namshop is a boomer?
Say a boomer?
You said he was really old.
I just want to make sure I heard you right. I think the joke just goes over Poison Oak's head, and he turns to the pool and lifts one hand up, and with these panels of the water in the pool rising up into the form of the earth, and he looks at Inky and says, "Within you is a gate, and it connects you to all of Gaia and all of Gaia's power." And then we turn the page, and we see Ryder and Lighthammer outside this grove.
And they are playing Thumb Wars while waiting on Inky and Brian.
Lighthammer is very competitive about this. Like, very competitive. Like, to the point where, like, you can see him shooting little sound waves and, like, really, really small ones and, like, hitting Ryder in the knee to, like, unbalance him.
And Ryder's actually using his super speed to try to overtake. His thumb's moving really, really fast.
Fantastic.
While that's happening, I'm like, they just didn't invite me in. They were like, you can't come in. I've never been disinvited from anywhere in my entire life. Like, people open doors for me. They don't close them in my face. This is the most disrespect I've ever had. Can you please stop super speeding your thumb around?
Stop shooting me in the knees!
I would never do that. I look over there, and I point.
As you're saying that, there are little sound waves hitting me in the knees.
Our next panel cuts back in, and we get this close up of this the water globe, and we see like a little water Inky standing on the globe, and this like vortex connecting the two, and we get like a voiceover bubble from Poison Oak. I know you didn't ask for it, child of Gaia, but because this connection's in you, there's those out there that will use it to steal or corrupt that power.
So, Uncle, when the thing grabbed me, I kind of sucked out a bit of it, and then it tasted really bad, and that's normal, right?
Poison Oak is normally incredibly stoic, and he gets like the slightest look of concern on his face and pushes back to his stoic face, just like in a single panel. And he says, "Put your hands in the pool."
Brian is struggling to visualize what he just heard.
I see Brian struggling, and I go, "Don't worry, Brian, you weren't there. It was a thing." And I put my hands in the pool.
I want you to roll to pierce the mask, but use freak if it's better than your mundane.
My freak is 1, which is 3 higher than my mundane.
And while you put your hands in, while you're rolling this, I think we see the water form up into this like 3, like it morphs from the earth with Inky standing on it into this like water form of Namshub.
So I rolled a 7.
All right, on a 7 to 9, you can ask one, and I'm going to be a little bit vague in these answers, just as like so you know the terms going in.
Okay, what do you want me to do?
We see several panels of this water shifting and kind of showing a scene. And we see Namshub like dissolve into water, and it's this flat plane. And we see Inky standing on the plane, like standing there. And then we see these like plants like Inky has been causing to like controlling, rising up around Inky, and then more and more and bigger and bigger. And then we see this scroll made of water just pierce through Inky's heart. And what you get from that is that Namshub needs you to be stronger before you're of use to them.
I think I communicate what I saw to Poison Oak.
Oh, this is all happening in the water. Like Brian,
so it's visible, right?
Yeah, Brian and Poison Oak can both see it. But once that finishes, the surface of the water goes still, and you feel very like completely cleansed of any of that lingering energy that was left in you.
I think I go, blah, this makes me feel like those showers that light makes me take.
Right?
And I think we get this nice panel of Inky still turned towards the pool of water, and Poison Oak's hand on his shoulder, and Brian standing behind them. And do we want anything more out of that scene, or are we good there for now?
As we walk out, Brian and I look at each other and do this like elaborate high five, and then a handshake, and then a movement, and then walk out.
Finger twiddles.
Yeah, like the finger guns and the explosion hand.
And I'd like to get just like one reaction panel from Ryder and Lighthammer, like mid thumb war as they see this.
Oh, they're not supposed to see it. It's the secret handshake.
Ah, okay.
Maybe the door just opens in the middle of it.
As they walk past, I want to look at Ryder and be like, oh my god, they both smell so bad. I'm gonna have to force them to take another goddamn shower, aren't I?
Yeah, we can't use the pool anymore because,
I think Enki heard that and turns around and said, "Actually, Uncle told me you're not supposed to wash me anymore. Really serious business. You know, demons and all."
Yeah, this is pretty serious.
Yeah, well, we took down a demon before. It'll be fine.
we'll throw water at him. We can get the bucket, right?
They're not dogs. We'll use a hose.
I think, as Lighthammer says, they're not dogs. There's one panel of Enki scratching his ear with his foot.
Perfect. We turn the page. Our next panel, we see an editor's note that says a couple hours later, and we get this shot of a strip of restaurants with like outdoor patio eating, and we see the four of you at a table.
Can we actually start with Ryder and I walking over to the table?
Yeah, absolutely.
As we're walking over, I'm like, you have to tell them sooner rather than later, right?
I know, I will. Just with everything going on, when is a good time?
Literally never. We talked about that yesterday, but yesterday, this morning, God, time is weird. We talked about that earlier, and I know that it's going to be awful, but you have to talk to them. They look up to you.
I know.
And I think with that, we probably arrive at the table.
Yeah. Hey, guys.
You see a panel of Enki and Brian sitting next to each other, both wearing the same sailor kid outfit from like the 1800s and looking really angry.
I'm sorry. In what world do you think Lighthammer put you in Sailor Kid outfits?
In a world where Light's angry at us for not inviting and not wanting to wear the right clothes.
No, I'm completely down for this.
Honestly, this is punishment for not taking a shower. Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Uh-huh.
Cutaway panel too. If you're gonna smell like a sailor, you're gonna dress like one.
I'm in for that, sure.
Because in the background of that panel needs to be, because they would have to be getting a shower in that panel. And I think Ryder would be in the background of that panel holding the sailor uniforms.
I think I look over and Brian has like ketchup on his face, and I like grab a napkin. And I'm like, "Come here, hold on. I just need to just wipe really fast." Brian, stop squirming.
I got it.
You
Okay.
know, like, you don't have to mother them. I mean, one of them might actually be a wild child, but the other one, no, never mind.
I was about to say, which one do you think is the wild child, Felix?
You're right. And Felix would sit down with his tray.
Look, I don't want to mother the two of you, but like, I have a reputation to uphold. I have to have myself and everyone I'm around look presentable. There are cameras on me. There are 9 people within eyesight currently taking pictures of us. I don't want you to turn me into the next tabloid trash story.
And I think with that, we get like an overhead shot. We can still hear your conversation with the text bubbles. But, we do see that there are several people snapping shots of Lighthammer and the crew. I believe, and the screws is the official term.
That's a throwback.
I just slowly turn around with my face absolutely stuffed full of food.
Fantastic. And at like one edge of this square, we see there's like a high-rise building under construction, and we can see like 6 different like high-rise construction cranes there, just kind of setting the scene.
I look at Ryder and I'm like very pointedly like, isn't this such a nice day out for us to be here and talk to our family about things?
Yeah, there is something I got to break to you guys. I'm leaving.
As you say that, an object whizzes past your head and you can hear gulp behind you. And when you look behind you, you see Gerard poorly hiding in a flower bed, and Enki's plate is empty.
You brought the houseplant?
Wait, you're leaving?
So no one's going to mention Gerard? No?
You're leaving?
Okay.
What?
Well, yeah. Yeah. I'm leaving.
Dad.
I think Ryder would shoot a nasty look over at Brian if he says that. Listen, I got some news from Uncle Leo, and he needs me away from here. I'll be training new riders before. And he looks over at Brian and goes, "Are you aware of Dark Mark?"
Would Dark Mark have been featured on the television show or whatever?
You would know who Dark Mark is. You might not know who Dark Rider is. Dark Mark is like our city's Batman.
Oh, well, okay. Brian was a Rider fan. I don't know if he knows about Dark Mark. If he's famous enough.
He's definitely famous enough. You would know about Dark Mark.
Okay, so I just raised my eyebrow slightly.
Yeah. Well, Dark Mark is my dad. And he's actually, he's Leo's brother. And basically, well, if I went evil and tried to take over the world, you get him.
Dark Mark is your dad? Oh my god.
Well, this Dark Mark at least. We don't know what happened to the real one, or if Dark Rider has always been the real one. It's a little confusing. One of the Dark Marks is his dad.
Is this popular knowledge? Because I just shouted it out.
It's not, but thank you for that.
I was going to inject a couple more unimportant background details. There's like a small crowd that's been gathering. Like the readers can see this in the background of your all's conversation at the base of one of these cranes. And like hard to see, but there's like a dark figure climbing up one of the cranes. Not an important detail, just tossing in some like flavor background stuff. Go on.
Blinks 3 times aggressively.
I was about to say the same. Yeah, so if you could not yell that so loudly, that would be great.
I'm slowly shrinking back down into my chair.
You're leaving?
Yes, Inky, I'm leaving. But I'm also leaving you in amazing hands. He looks over at Light.
I look over at Brian and go, yeah, okay, that's fair.
Not those hands.
I look at Brian and go, you have spare hands? That's so cool.
Yeah, want to see him?
Let's not do that here. This is a nice family outing.
We get a close-up panel of my hand on Ryder's thigh and like digging into it, like squeezing it, probably to the point, because I'm in like full costume, where like the gauntlet is probably like definitely bruising Ryder's thigh. Look, I know you two don't want me to take Ryder's spot. I get it. But the fact is, I've been heroing longer than both of you, and I've also been heroing longer than Ryder. It took me a while till I got good at it, but I am here to make us the best team we can be. I'm not gonna force you to do anything you don't want besides shower, because please, but it's gonna be an adjustment for all of us.
You'll do fine. It's not like I'm leaving forever. I'm still going to be around the city. I have some work to do.
I think at this point, Enki storms off and goes and sits with Gerard in the flower bed.
Now he acknowledges the houseplant.
I'm gonna look at Felix and be like, go talk to him.
Okay. Then I think Ryder's going to push away from the table and go over to Inky. Hey, buddy. Inky. You okay?
I don't like you leaving.
I know. I don't like leaving myself. This is something I've got to do.
So, like, you're gonna train kids?
Yeah. Kids like me.
Is it gonna be dangerous?
Probably.
Okay. Well, Gerard and I talked, and we both decided that it might be best that if it's dangerous, that you take Gerard, just so you're safe.
No, I think in this case, you're better off with Gerard. He's got your back.
I think that's a comfort and support. Inky, if you'd like to roll that.
That's a 9.
Damn. All right. On a 7 to 9. They hear you. If they open up, they can pick one.
Listen, before you were with us, my dad and some really unsavory people almost took out the city. We're preventing that from happening again. But I need you, Light, and Asimov to be heroes in your own right. Okay? Can you do that for me?
I'm not a hero.
And I think before Ryder has a chance to respond to that, Ryder, go ahead and pick what the mechanical condition, like reward you're choosing for that.
Can I shift label?
Yep. What you shifting?
I'm going to shift superior up, breakdown.
All right. And I think with Inky's I'm Not a Hero, we get this massive crack onomatopoeia. And then we get a panel of standing on the top of this, like the very tip top of this high-rise construction crane gun wizard, having just cracked a giant whip. Yeehaw! Get along, little doggies! And all the cranes start stampeding.
Oh, hell.
We get a cutaway dialogue box or dialogue bubble from Light that just says, "At least I'm wearing shoes this time."
And I think our next panel, we get like the full view of the street. This is down on the opposite end of the city street you're on, and is stampeding towards you. It's a lot of food in this area, so there's a lot of foot traffic and a ton of civilians in danger of getting hurt by this.
I immediately yell out, "Ryder, civilians, Enki, Brian with me."
Got it. And I think at that point, you're going to see a smaller than normal panel where Ryder takes his buckler takes the buckler out and goes, "Henshin!" and actually transforms, and then immediately vanishes out of the panel as he using his super speed to keep civilians out of danger.
Cool. I want to go ahead and enter a battle against a dangerous foe now. So who is the leader?
Me.
Light.
No one agree?
Yep.
Looks like it.
Lighthammer, what is your purpose in the fight?
Protect civilians.
Ryder?
Protect civilians. Protect the court.
Asimov?
Protecting the peeps.
And Inky.
Protecting the people.
Okay. Oh, sorry, Lighthammer, do you have influence over every teammate?
I don't have influence over Brian.
Does anyone mistrust the leader or the team?
No.
He made me take a shower.
Is that an actual mistrust?
No.
And do you think you're ill-prepared or off balance?
I wouldn't say so. We've already beat this guy up once.
Yeah, I'm good.
Might not have been expecting a crane, but
Yeah, I think gun wizard's within your power. So we're at 4 team. So I think we're going to start with Ryder. You said you're zipping off protecting civilians. How are you doing that?
I'm actually going to set up a barricade between the cranes and civilians, and then use my super speed to build to quickly, basically using my running to create a trench where the cranes would basically be guided into away from the civilian populace.
Okay. Give me a defend.
That is definitely a 6. Son of a biscuit, a pickle.
Can Gerard spend team to help? Because I have an idea of what that looks like. I guess I'd have to get Gil's permission to do that first.
Yeah, I think that would be Inky spending through Gerard, but I'm cool with that. It's up to y'all.
I'm cool with.
I just have this image of like a group of people running in the opposite direction and Gerard like snapping at them and then turning and sprinting in the direction Ryder told them to go.
Oh, okay. So like doing that as well as Ryder redirecting the things.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, cool. Brings it up to a 7. So on a 7 to 9, you do it. So add a team to the pool, take influence over someone you protect, or clear a condition.
I'm going to add a team to the pool.
Okay. And on a 7 to 9, either expose yourself to danger or escalate the situation.
Definitely exposing myself to danger.
So I think we get these series of panels of... Are you using like cars to build the barricade?
Yeah, that sounds awesome, actually.
Okay, cool. Of you just building this barricade, and I think we see like these... Let's say there's like 4 high-rise cranes. One of them, Gun Wizard, is standing atop. The other ones are kind of just stampeding as high-rise cranes do. And I think when they hit the car barricade, they divert to like turn back down the other way of this down the street, which is much less people. And I think we get this panel of like you just finishing putting this together and standing atop it. They kind of like buck back away from it, and then you are just hit by this blur of gold, neon red, and black. And You're hit by something at super speed. I want you to go ahead and roll to take a powerful blow as this just throws you across the street.
Ow.
That's an 8.
I'm going to struggle past the pain.
So what are you marking?
I am going to take angry and afraid. Angry because I'm pissed off something hit me, and afraid because I'm not quite sure what hit me.
Excellent. And I think we get a panel of you just slamming into the side of one of these buildings, hitting the ground, and then pulling yourself up. And our next panel shows someone in armor that looks similar to yours. It's definitely like rider armor, very much connected to your power, but with like a gold, black, and neon red color scheme. And they're standing on like a high-tech looking skateboard that's stylized into the same like Henshin aesthetic as the rider lineage. They're standing where they just slammed into you, and in each can they have a can of spray paint. They kind of like look across around the situation, and you see them like look directly at Lighthammer, and then they kick off, and as they like skate into empty space, they spray the spray cans of paint below them, creating this like luge track heading high speed straight towards Lighthammer. Lighthammer, what do you do?
Do I see this coming?
Yeah. It's coming at you at the speed that Ryder can run, though.
I think I just like flick on the like speakers as fast as I can and just send a massive blast of sound in all directions. Like I think I probably like hurt my own eardrums with the fact that I just made my helmet make this massive sound.
What are you aiming to do with this?
I'm trying to like disorient her enough to like get her off her feet. Probably take her footing from her.
You are perfectly welcome to do that. There are a ton of civilians around you. Up to you.
Yeah, let's retcon that. I wouldn't hurt the civilians. I thought we had already started getting them away.
You have started, but like you're further down the street. It's still densely packed with running people.
As shown by previous issues, I've gotten really good at like dodging out of the way of Ryder's super speed. Like there have now been 3 different times where I've like ducked under his arm and he's come out to grab me. I'm just gonna do that again and try to trip her.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a directly engage and just see how this goes.
That's a 9.
All right. On a 7 to 9, pick one.
Can I take her skateboard from her?
Yeah, it will likely be temporary, but yeah.
That's fine. So I duck down as she's coming towards me and like stick my foot out and catch her like in the shins so she goes tumbling off the skateboard, and then I pick it up and I'm like, now, misbehaving children don't get to play with their toys. Moon Harbor Heroes is produced by Anthony Sheets, T.B. Huth, and Elliot Peterson, and edited by Anthony Sheets and Sean Geddes. Anthony can be found on Twitter at IcyNewYear or at IcyNewYear.com. T is a theater artist and educator in the DC area. She can be found at T.Huth Playwright on Twitter or TPHuth94 on Instagram. Elliot can be found at Elliot Ylen on Twitter. That's ELLIOTYLEN. Sean can be found at The Crumpit, THECRUMPIT, on Twitter. Moon Harbor Heroes is played using Masks: A New Generation, written by Brendan Conway and produced by Magpie Games. Our logo was designed by Beautiful Beasties. She can be found on Instagram at beastly.doodles or on Patreon at patreon.com/beautifulbeasties. The music in this issue is Black Vortex by Kevin MacLeod. This issue is GM'd by Anthony Sheets. Ryder Typhon is played by Kaido Kane. Kaido is a Twitch personality and loves their 3 mischievous cats. You can find them at The Versian on Twitter or as Kaido Kane on twitch.tv. Asimov is played by EXPHP. You probably won't find him at It's EXPHP on Twitter, but it's worth a try. Enki is played by Simon Meskins. You can find him as at Gilbereka, GILBERREKE on Twitter. Lighthammer is played by T. Huth. If you want to get a hold of us, email us at moonharborheroes@gmail.com or find us on Twitter at moonharborcast. If you enjoyed this issue, please leave us a review on your podcatcher of choice or tell a friend. 5-star reviews and word of mouth are really the best way for us to keep bringing these stories to more people. If you'd like to support us financially, check us out at patreon.com/moonharborheroes. Supporting us there will give you access to bonus issues each month. And thank you for helping us save the world. We'll see you next issue.